In this session of the Corset Disciplinarian, I will be discussing the various types of consumption. And this discussion will be all about liquid libations. All right, so in this session of the Corset Disciplinarian, I will be discussing liquid libations and waist training. What goes in has to also come out. When you are waist training, the first thing you have to always remember, it's compression, it's restriction. You are making your insides, your internal organs, function in a way that is not natural. Let's just call a spade, okay? It's not natural. So, you have to think about all the things that you would normally do that you're going to have to make adjustments with because, after all, this is your art form. Over the years, I have found foods I've had to give up, liquids I've had to give up, and we won't even talk about movements I've had to give up. But for this one, we're talking about your liquid libations. Now, that falls into a lot of categories. Of course, it's always water. Can't give up water. But we can give up carbonated water. We can give up most sugary waters. And you have to rethink a lot of your energy drinks. That falls into soda. That falls into any type of sugary, syrupy type of drinks. And of course, anything that is effervescent. Effervescent is not your friend, but you can control it. There's nothing that says you have to totally give it up, but you've got to know your moderation. That old Clint Eastwood thing about that you've got to know your limitations. That's the way it is with liquid libation. That's the way it is with consumption and waist training. Yes, you have to know your limitations. All right, so let's just start. You're now waist training. You are going for your goal. You may have reached your goal. You may be considering this for your maintenance. Maintenance is hard. First of all, I'm only talking about liquid libations, sitting up, standing up, lying down, being prone, sleeping. That's a whole different creature. So we're going to talk about sitting up, all right? Water is fine, taken in moderation. You're not going to sit and gulp down 8 ounces of water and expect not for this to be a little bit uncomfortable, maybe even a lot uncomfortable. I would think about your sodas. There are some sodas out there that have more carbonation than other sodas. Then there are sodas out there that have more sugar than other sodas, but that doesn't mean any less carbonation. It just means there's more sugar, just as much carbonation. Know your limitations. I'm not going to go into brands because, again, everybody is different. Everybody is going to react differently. Your waist training journey, your tight lacing journey is going to be different from the person next to you, depending on their body type, depending on their amount of exercise. But you have to think about that. And you have to think about drinking and eating. Not recommended. Now let's go into the real big one. Alcoholic beverages. Beer. Personally, before we get started, I don't drink liquor. So I really am not an expert as far as what liquors will do what to your body, your insides, your compression. I really am not the person to speak on that. But I can talk about carbonation. That is a subject I know about because I've overdone it myself. All right? Look at beer. Beer is based on carbonation. It's based on the bubbly. Wine is sometimes more sugary and syrupy than a lot of other liquors. You have to think about your champagne. Think about anything that is going to be effervescent, bubbly. It's going to fill up this small space that you have now. That's just liquid libations. This is a whole series that I do with my clients because I have to sit and decide, well, what are your eating habits? There are some things that they always have to consume. There are some things that they can give up. There are some things that, you just got to have those comfort foods. Okay? And sometimes comfort foods aren't that great. But going back to liquid libations, okay? Tea, coffee, I don't have any problems when I consume tea or coffee, as long as I do it in moderation. Okay? I don't do a lot of fancy coffees or fancy teas, but I can do a cup of coffee. I can do a cup of tea, maybe even on a day when I'm doing a lot of paperwork, I can go through a pot of tea. All right? I may not go through a pot of coffee because I also like sugar in my coffee and milk in my coffee. My tea, I can take plain. When it comes to soda, I love my soda. But I had to find a soda that I could drink and maintain my waist training journey. Again, it's going to be up to you. These are things that I discuss with clients and you can DM me and I can kind of give an idea of things that I have consumed, but that's liquid libation. Once you get the liquid libation in, then we have to talk about food. So that will be the next Corset Disciplinarian. Until then, keep it tight.